safe space. We ain't never give a reason you should hide. Compile all your questions, we taking the quest. Join Tarsha on this journey to discover the rest. Go.
Welcome to the Adoption Journey podcast. I am your host, Tarsha Smith, and welcome back to another week with another story, another journey. Before we get started, y'all subscribe, like, share, do all the things, and jump over to Patreon if you want like special content and all that stuff. And I am not going to prolong this. I am super excited to have Chancie Bramlett. I hope I said that correct.
Yes.
Many of you might know him from his comedy, I Am Chancie. He
Yes.
acts a fool for us and we love it.
Thank y'all.
How are you, sir?
I am doing very well.
Thank you. Now, this side of Chancie, this very subdued side, I don't know this side. This is not what we get on the internet, but I love it. So
Yeah.
I want to jump in and just ask my very first question. How old were you when you found out that you were adopted?
I want to say I was in kindergarten when I actually understood what was going on. So maybe I don't even know what kindergarten age is.
5-ish.
Yeah, around that
time?
age is
So
when I.
what happened? So I feel like you knew, but you didn't really understand
Right.
what was going on. So as if you could think back that far, what did you think was happening before you really understood what was going on?
From my understanding, I really didn't it's been so long ago. I was such a kid. I do remember around the time when I was with my biological mom and my adopted mom. It was like my biological mom was basically trying to spend time with me, and it was like I was kind of standoffish because I was so used to my adopted mom that I really didn't know she was my real mom at the time.
Gotcha.
And she was in a stage where she really couldn't like just take care of me on her own.
All right.
So because she was in like this home where she wasn't completely I don't know the word for it. She just wasn't completely dysfunctional on her own. She
Gotcha.
had she just was have tantrums and seizures and different things that she had a minor setback from things that parents do that cause you to have certain issues when you're born. And I guess they didn't want to be a hindrance in having her around all the time and not being able to be there for her 24 care. So she was in some type of home where she got the care, but she was able to leave and be with family and go back.
Gotcha.
But
Now,
that was the area where that's where she was actually before I was born. She was in that home, and she had a white guy friend that worked there, and they was I don't know if they were boyfriend or girlfriend, but I know from my understanding they liked each other, and he worked there, and she stayed there, and I guess he was in her room while she was asleep, and she woke up and he was on top of her, and basically, raped her, basically, and she woke up and he did what he did, and she became pregnant. And at that time, she wasn't ready for no baby because she couldn't take care of herself. She was in a home.
right.
And so it traumatized her, and she had seizures a lot when she was pregnant with me. And the family, his side of the family was racist. And they went to
Did
court to basically put me up for an adoption before my grandmother had my mom to basically adopt me. I was in court.
so
Well,
they were
they
going to
was in
put you
court.
up for adoption because of the color, because you were black, or she was black,
They was putting me up for adoption because she couldn't take care of me.
because she couldn't take care of you.
They
Got
knew
you.
she wasn't able to, you know, be there for me fully. So they was gonna have to put me up for adoption. They knew that, and they was just trying to see which side of the family wanted to take, control of the baby.
Gotcha.
So no one at that time, when they went to court, they had to give both parties a chance, even though my grandmama had the money set aside for my mom to take over for
Hmm.
me to just, take me in. They still had to give the other party a chance. So they had to go to court to see who wanted me. And of course, the father side, they, like I said, his mother and all of them was racist. So when they was in the court, they basically said, she said that, if you have, this nigger, we'll kill him. So the judge basically threw, that side out. Like he just put him out.
Right. Yeah.
And I never saw that side of the family. And the judge ruled in favor for my mom's biological sister side. So, but the judge they said, even though he ruled in their favor,
Hmm.
he kept coming, checking on me, making sure I was in a safe environment,
Hmm.
making sure that I was being treated well. Um, and in that time before my mom had me, like I said, she had seizures and she would fall on her stomach a lot
While she was pregnant with you.
while she was pregnant with me. And the doctor, he saw different issues. He saw basically me missing body parts like arms and legs. He told the family that I was gonna, have those seizures that
Hmm.
she had, and they basically had to do a C-section because she wasn't able to have me naturally. And they said, when the doctor cut me open, they had to be gentle because they was thinking that I was missing parts and
That you
stuff.
were disformed. Right.
And when they cut me open, and they was like, the doctor just stood there in shock because I looked
Because
like
you weren't
I
a
was a
regular
normal
baby.
person.
You were a
Yeah.
normal person,
And
right?
it was a lot of like my grandma was trying to either get my mom to adopt me or her brother or somebody in
Somebody
the
on that
sides of the
side.
family.
So, and
And
they were also concerned too, I take it, because now not only are you as far as the other side is concerned, you're the wrong color, but also then they thought you were going to be mentally disabled in
right,
some kind of way.
they
So
thought I
now
was
you
going to
had
be
two strikes as far as
right.
they were
They thought I
concerned.
was going to be all of that, and that's why none of my family, nobody wanted me. And on my mama's side,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's when they had several people my grandmama asked, and nobody wanted to take me in because they didn't want that responsibility.
Right.
The only person she could get to adopt me was my mom. So I think, from my understanding, my
And let me
grandmama
just clarify,
asked
when you're saying your mom, who are you referring to?
my
Are
my adopted mom now.
your adopted mom
She
now?
basically had me since I was born, so that's the only mom I
Okay.
know.
Are you related to her? Was it a kinship
Yes,
adoption?
that's my biological mother's sister.
Okay, so biologically she's your auntie, but that's
Yeah,
mama for you.
yes.
Got it. Just so we can follow your story. Okay.
So, before I think before my grandmother asked my mom, she asked like several of the family members, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody wanted me because they thought, well, the
Mm-hmm.
doctor said he's going to be a special need baby, and we don't want a
Right.
special need baby. So my adopted mom, which is my auntie, was the only one out of all the people took me in based off whatever condition I was in. But once I was born, everybody that I guess my grandmother asked to adopt me, everybody was there,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody want to see this mixed baby, and they want to
It's
see how I'm gonna come out and all
right.
that.
Right.
But they said the doctor, when he stood there, they said he just stood there, and everybody was trying to figure out what was going on
Right.
and why he wasn't pulling the baby out, and because he was just so in shock.
Yeah.
And he saw them talk. They saw him talking to the nurses, and then everybody just surrounding, looking, and they was
Because
like in shock. So
yeah, because
they
you
just
weren't supposed
started.
to be that.
Yes. So when they pulled me out, um, and they saw I was okay, they checked me, and they didn't see anything wrong. But they still couldn't. I guess they still couldn't say if I would have seizures or not. But I've never had one seizure since
That's
I've
what I
been
was just going to really
born.
ask you. Have you
Yeah,
had seizures? Did you have that? No.
I've never had one. I've never been diagnosed with like it even coming. Um, I've
Any
been,
type of disability?
and I've never
Anything
had
they said
no
that you would have?
that I've never had any disability or
Nothing.
anything.
Nothing.
So it's like I just really feel like a blessed child that
Absolutely.
I came in the world with a purpose. And
Mm, for sure.
I'm just, I'm just glad that, I'm here, and I'm finding
Absolutely.
my purpose, and, making people smile every day.
Absolutely. That's
And
what you do. So I'm
so
going to
it's
go back.
just
I'm going to take you back for a second because you
okay.
led with you were around your biological mom,
Hmm.
but you didn't know, and you were actually kind of standoffish towards her, but she was coming around just trying to be around you.
Yeah,
So
and I
now,
would
when you understand, you said about kindergarten or whatever, oh, I'm adopt. Like when you begin to understand what the situation is, what is your relationship now like with, at this point, still a little kid, but with your birth mom?
okay, someone a call tried to come in.
That's okay.
Okay.
I don't know if
Um
you were able to still hear me.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What was the relationship like when you realized who she actually was?
Um well, I realized who she was when my mom, basically, she came in, she was getting ready to like pass away. She was having seizures back to back. My grandmama passed, and I think my mom lived maybe a month after.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So it was like when my grandmother passed, she just basically didn't live too long after, because she just started having seizures back to back to back. And so my auntie, which is my mom, she came to get me from school, and that's when I started. That's when she basically, I remember her sitting me down and letting me know what was going on, and she basically was saying, this is your mom, and she's not doing so well, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just like I was just standing there beside her when she was, shaking and having her seizures, and I just remember holding her hand, and when it's like she saw me and she was squeezing my hand, and it was like kind of hurting, because the last time she squeezed my hand, she went into her last seizure,
So you
and
were
she was squeezing
there for
me,
that.
and I was there right before she passed away. Like, I
Yeah.
guess she wanted to see me for her last,
Yeah.
goodbye.
Oof.
And she was just squeezing me tight, and she was crying as she was in her seizure. And, you know, my mom, right before I went in, my aunt was letting me know, she was talking to me and telling me what was going on. And Me
So
being
you're,
young,
yeah, that's where I
I
was going. You're
was, you
young.
know, I was taking a lot in at a young age, but
That's a
she
lot.
wanted me to, she knew my mom was going to another place. She
Right.
knew.
That's a
And I
lot for a
guess
little
she,
boy.
yeah.
That's a
And when I
lot.
went in the room, it was a lot. Um, and it was just so, it was a lot at a young
Yeah.
age. And
Yeah,
I
I
was
can,
scared because now I know she's my mom, and I'm
right.
like, I can't.
Because you find out she's your mom and then she's passing
She's
away.
passing away, and
Yeah.
she's squeezing me so tight, and even though my aunt was giving me time with her, but she was standing at the door making sure I was okay, and I remember just screaming, "It's hurt! This hurting me! This
Yeah.
hurting me!" And because she was going in her, like I said, she was going in her seizure, squeezing me, and the more she got in her seizure, the squeeze just
the,
got
the the
tighter and
the
tighter.
tighter the grip. Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh. So how do mm, how do you come back? No, I don't guess come back. How do you carry this moving forward? This is a little boy. This is a lot to process.
um,
Do you talk about it with your adoptive mom?
I
Is
don't.
oof.
I basically, when I got older, she told me basically the whole story with my mom being raped and the
Mm-hmm.
whole courthouse ordeal. She told me everything, and I took it all in. But when I got alone, you know, I basically cried a lot
Yeah,
because it's like at the same time I'm crying because it's like I'm a blessing to be here,
for sure.
but I was crying because I didn't get no time with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it would felt, to be with my real mom, and I never knew my real dad. And it was like I feel like it was just taken from me.
Oof.
So
Yeah.
I still cope with it to this day. And that's why I do like my comedy skits. It helps cope with the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a very shy person, but when I get into characters, like I'm somebody
You just come
totally
alive.
different.
Yeah.
When people meet me in person, they was like, "Oh, you're so shy and you're so quiet," but that's just I'm just so humble and shy, and
Yeah.
I'm totally different from my characters.
For sh-
I can act out anybody like so well because when I put the wigs on or when I put that character on, I become that
that
person.
person.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's like it's just something come over me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just have so much fun, and it seemed like
You
just
look
all the
like you're
weight
having
that's on
fun.
my shoulder, all the weight and stress that be on me, it
Mm-hmm.
just release when I'm doing what I do, and it just
Mm-hmm.
feels so good at that moment, and I just have so much fun.
Well, let me ask you this. So, as you grow up, because like you said, you didn't talk about it, and when you got to be a teenager, um, she told you the story.
Hmm.
But just thinking back on how you were raised and just your childhood, just in general, high school, middle school, all of that, do you think, was it normal for you, or do you, in hindsight, were you affected by this? Or did you just tuck it in the back of your mind somewhere and just try and live your life?
I basically tucked it in the back of my mind and just tried to live. I lived my life. At the moment when she told me, it probably hindered me for a month or so, but I realized that I still had to move on, and I can't bring her back. I can't change the fact, my father did what he did, and I had came in the world the way I did. So
Mm-hmm.
I just had to move on and, try to make the best of life as I was because I was still in school and I was trying to focus on, at least graduating and getting somewhere in life where I could, make some of myself. That was my main goal, is to make something of myself,
Mm-hmm.
out of all the things that happened in my life. I want to make something of myself and make my mom proud, because wherever she are watching. So
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I know you know the story. Do you know or have any contact with your father's side of the family, or
no,
no contact at all? Never
no
have.
contact, never have.
But you know who he is, or you don't even know
I
who he is.
I don't know who he is. My aunt tried to find a picture. I think she showed me one picture,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't we can't find it anymore. She showed me one picture of her, my mom, and him together. I guess they was outside at the place that she was in. They was
Mm-hmm.
outside with the other people that was there, and they was, I don't know if it was like a pool party or it was something, because everybody had on bathing suits and they was all wet.
Mm-hmm.
And she was showing me they took a picture together. That's the only thing I
One
saw,
picture.
but I never knew who he was or never met him. Or
Do you have a desire to?
part of me do,
Mm-hmm.
but a part of me don't. um
That's okay.
because it's like I've came so far, and I don't know what it would feel like
Yeah.
to, I don't know what it would feel like if I met him. Or
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, a part of me do, but a part of me is scared to do it.
Understood. And that's
But
totally normal.
yeah.
Totally normal. As a person who I have found both sides of my mother's side and father's side of the family. And you just have to be ready because you don't know. You know, when you walk in, when you find these people, you don't know how you're going to be received or, whatever.
Hmm.
What I'm curious, and I know you probably don't know the answer, is how much of your other side of the family knows about you or even that you exist.
I do not know.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't
I
know
don't
that.
even know any of that side. Like,
Nothing.
I could be working with some of them to this day, and I wouldn't
Yeah,
even know.
you wouldn't know. That's the only thing that I would say. Not that you necessarily needed to have a relationship, but just the knowing who these people are, even medical history, just stuff like that. That's the only thing I would say to you. But again, it's a personal decision, all
Yeah.
the way a personal decision. So I want to know, how does a person that has this type of testimony, how do we come into I am Chancie? Like, how do we get here?
I don't know. It's been like, this journey has it really came on me like out the blue.
Okay.
I actually started off singing.
Oh,
I was
really?
on Sunday Best, and
I don't think I
I
knew that.
I auditioned, and my audition was on Sunday Best on the air.
Okay.
But I didn't make the actual show, but my
Oh, okay.
audition was aired on TV.
Okay.
And I was chasing that dream, and I basically, I got discouraged. And I don't know how I just, someone was telling me about TikTok. Everybody always, you know, saw me as this funny person, because I would, when close people I know, I
You're the
act up
clown.
and I clown. But when someone told me about TikTok, they were like, "You should get a TikTok and just be yourself."
Okay.
And I just got on TikTok. I started with TikTok. And I just got on TikTok and just started watching other people. And I'm like, man, these people make money doing this. And so I was like, wow. So I just started making TikToks, not knowing where I was going with it.
Mm.
and I just basically let it found me.
Okay.
Um, I was doing different things, but my the stuff that I was doing like church wise was going like viral. And so that's why I was like, okay, maybe I should stick with this because the people likes this.
Because
And
it's relatable.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I started with a video in the car with I really had Tony wig on, but I was really in Joanne's character because I had the titties and everything. Because I think the Tony wig was the very first wig that I bought.
Okay.
Um, and I was just doing stuff at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't even have no characters. I didn't have no names. I was just doing something, and it started with that. And I had church music on, and it was like she was driving to the church or whatever, and it went viral. And I started from that to just started doing other stuff with other little small things I was doing. Still didn't know where I was going, and
Mm-hmm.
then I started and that's when my ideal mind came to my head and was like, well, since this church stuff doing so well, just mimic the people from your home church from back in Mississippi. So I just started naming characters. I was like, okay, I'm finna get the choir together and I'm gonna start there. And
Right.
so, and what made me get there, because I think I was at Goodwill and I was just in there searching for something for one character, and I saw the choir robe sitting over in the corner, and that's when the choir stuff came in my head. I was like, oh wow, I could do the choir. So I started thinking about all the choir members at my mom's church, and I just started naming them.
Is this the
And
church that you
so
grew up in?
yes,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so that's why I did the choir walking into the church,
Mm-hmm.
and I started naming. I named them after the choir members at my mom's church, and I had went and got. I was like, okay, I got to get all these wigs. So I just went and got wigs, and I did a video. It came to me. I was like, okay, this is an easy one. We could just walk in the church, and the video went completely viral, like million or
Wow.
so odd views, and I was like, wow, this is what I need to be doing. And so when I started there, I just kept on adding more characters. I was like, okay, I got a choir. Now I got to have church
You got to
members,
have the whole church members.
So that's when the sorority came. I thought about my godmother. She's a AKA. And so
Ski
that's when I
wee.
talked to her. I was like, hey, I
That's
want
the
to
first
add.
video of yours I saw. And I said,
So
okay.
I talked to her and I was like, hey, I want to do this. I want to add um the sorority in my church. Um because what brought it to me, because the choir director, she always wore red and black,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody just kept saying in the comments, she got to be a Delta. She got to be a Delta. And I was like, wow, what if, I bring sorority to this
And to,
particular
yeah, that's
church?
the video. I think, yeah, that's one of the
Because I
first
wanted
videos I saw.
I wanted to stand out because everybody was actually attacking me for my stuff was being similar to Not Carlton Banks, and I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
different.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it. I was trying to add something different that is different from his
From
stuff,
his
even
stuff.
though because he do church and
Right.
I do church, so I wanted to be different. And so that's when the sorority idea came, and I talked to my godmother, who is a AKA. I was like, hey, what do you think if I do this?
Will it be okay?
Will it be okay? And that's when she was like, what, because I told her exactly what I wanted to do. She was like, it sounds like it, it would be okay. Just if
Yeah.
you're just doing the
Just
colors
doing the
and
colors. Yeah.
you'll be fine. Just
Yeah.
don't be throwing no
Don't be
signs and
doing no
all of
signs and
that.
don't put on our
I was like, I don't know nothing about I was like, I don't know nothing about no signs and none of that anyway. So I just want to do the colors and just want to have them, be church members.
right.
And she was like, oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
And
But
that's
hold
when
on, I'm
I
going to
did
stop
the
you right there. So hold on, I got to stop you right there because
okay.
I'm listening to all the success. Your whole demeanor has changed. I don't know if you noticed, and you've got millions of views, viral videos. What makes you sit down in front of the camera, very similar to what you're doing right now,
Hmm.
and do that video that you did about this last year? What makes you, what's going on with you that says, you know what, let me stop and show these people another side?
Talking about the video of
The
telling my
video
story.
telling your story.
Um,
How do we get there? What made you do that?
because I told it, because I actually told the story before
Okay.
and it went viral when I told it. Like it was around the time right before my Sunday Best audition aired.
Okay.
I had told it, and it went viral. But since I've grown a big audience, I just wanted to share it again to
Again.
the people who's actually tuned in to me. I just wanted them to get, all of me and to
All of
know
you.
everything, to know what's
What I
going on.
what I loved about that video, what you did at the end of that video, which was hard. It was a hard thing for you to uh, show grace and show forgiveness, and in hopes that maybe they'll see it, and you weren't even. I know you like you don't even know who they are,
Right.
and I'm that's a big part of your healing journey
Yeah.
for sure. And so that's the part that really drew me in because as an adoptee, I understand how
Right.
hard stuff like that can be. Are you, and I always ask this question to my guests because I believe it's important. Are you in any therapy or have you ever had therapy for any of this?
No, I've never been. I've never had therapy, but I think eventually, I probably will. Um, because at the end of the day, I still have pain. I still
For
hurt.
sure. For sure.
Um, Out the blue, I still get that empty
Get
feeling.
triggered. Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually down the road, I probably will seek therapy because I probably would, need it.
I encourage you to do so. I know, especially in our community, and especially not only the Black community, but in the church community, it's a stigma.
Yeah.
Like, and so I always say pray, for sure, pray, and go to therapy. Please do
Yeah.
both because and I don't believe that we're never just healed with an ED. It's always
Hmm.
healing, always a healing journey. And so the fact that I know that you have found your thing that helps you to be able to lock into something else and be okay and feel different, and you're phenomenal at what you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I want you to continue that journey. So I encourage you to go to
Yeah.
therapy for sure and find a therapist that is also an adoptee themselves or somebody that can speak to that because not
Hmm.
all therapists can speak to that journey because that's a different kind of journey.
Yeah.
So for sure. So um, my final question that I want to ask you, if anybody is kind of sitting where you are in this space of, I'm an adoptee, I have this story, you don't mind sharing your story, what would you tell an adoptee that's maybe afraid to speak out about their story? What would you say to them right now if they're listening?
Um, just if you're afraid to speak out about it, just find you that one somebody
Mm.
and talk to them, pour out to them. Don't hold it in. Um, because we always have to find a way to vent. and I just chose to vent the way I did, to get it out
Yeah.
to the world, because I felt like, hey, I have this big audience. I want to get it out. And I want, you know, the world to know I forgive. And like you said, I hope that if they're still living, that they saw it. At least I got it out and I got how I felt out.
Mm-hmm.
It's always find you someone, get it out, and let someone help you, guide you, help you heal through your pain.
For
Don't
sure.
hold it in,
For sure.
because it can, holding it in can drive you crazy. It can do a lot of damage that you wouldn't want, to
Mm-hmm.
do. So let it out.
Let it out.
Get
For
it out.
sure. For
For sure.
sure. Is your adoptive mom still with us? Is she still
Yes.
living? Okay. So she was able to see you do all the
Yes.
things.
She's I think she's like 71, 72
Okay.
now.
Okay. She's not that old.
Um but her health is like up and down right now. She's basically in dialysis right now.
Okay.
But they says that she's doing her dialysis treatment is helping her, and I think she should be getting out of dialysis this month.
Okay.
Because she's basically a diabetic. So um dialysis and diabetic is just, they both, it's kind of
Hand
like
in hand. Yeah.
they not working good together. And
For
on top
sure.
of her, she's being anemic, and she's like an anemic person. She's always cold,
Mm-hmm.
and going to dialysis is like the blood be really cold to her. So she be feeling like I'm about to die.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just hate she's, going through it, because she feel like she gonna freeze to death when during
Doing
dialysis. And
dialysis. Yeah.
so it's like she's just ready for that to be over.
Well, I
And
mentioned
it's,
her because I wanted to be proud that
mm-hmm,
she's still around to see you. She's watched you grow up. She's watched you do all the things, and I know
yeah,
you're still doing things. And so that's a blessing that she's
yeah,
been able to see you, rock it like you are. So I'm so glad that she's still here to
yeah,
witness her baby go through the things, even though you came into the world the way that you came into the world. And because
yes,
it doesn't define you at all.
yes.
So I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and
You're
sharing your
so
story.
welcome.
And hang on one second, don't leave me, just 1 second. And
Okay.
on that note, bye family.
Journey, journey, on, journey, journey, on. You need a pie, what they good? Oh yeah, what that's the one.